From the opinion pages of the Wall Street Journal, this is Potomac Watch.
Welcome back. Let's turn to a couple of developments in the presidential race now that the Republican and Democratic National Conventions have convened and broken and nominated their respective candidates. The next real point of attention is going to be the September 10th debate between President Trump and Kamala Harris, scheduled for September 10th. If it comes off, some suggestion by Donald Trump that he does not like the hosts and would prefer new hosts, and then some clashing recently about the mute button. As a reminder, the terms that Joe Biden agreed to for the previous CNN debate was that each candidate's microphone would be off when it is not their turn to speak. And Kamala Harris now wants different sort of rules. Here's one of her advisors in recent days saying, "We have told ABC and other networks seeking to host a possible October debate that we believe both candidates' mics should be live throughout the full broadcast." Trump's team responding that this is changing the rules that had been previously agreed to. Trump himself then weighing in on Monday. Here is what he said. The agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. He told reporters in Virginia, "I didn't like it last time, but it worked out fine." Monet, what do you make of this? And is it in the interest of either or both of these candidates at this point to have the debate, or is one of or both of them looking for a kind of an out?
Well, first of all, on Kamala Harris's campaign protesting in favor of having the candidates' mics live throughout the entire broadcast, I don't think you could possibly find a better encapsulation of the cynicism of her strategy, which is essentially that she is the most media-shy and most self-protective candidate we've ever seen in a presidential race. She has avoided doing an interview thus far. She is very afraid of having to be on the microphone in any kind of unscripted moment, and she knows that she has little ability to actually help herself in the debate and is counting on a strategy of giving Trump the rope to hang himself by going off the cuff, by attacking her in ways that are going to be unbecoming. She basically knows that her only chance of coming up looking good in that debate is if Trump is able to embarrass himself, which he can't do if his mic is cut every time it's her turn to speak. And so they have openly and shamelessly reversed the position from the Biden presidency, which was that we want to have an orderly and respectful debate in which candidates take turns speaking. She wants to basically make sure that Trump is going to be on his worst possible behavior so that he is able to do all the damage that he can against himself, because she knows that she won't really be able to make a convincing case against him with her own words.
Kim, what do you make of this? I take Monet's point that her strategy is the opposite of Biden's, and she would really enjoy having this debate turning into an interrupt-a-thon where she doesn't have to answer the kind of substantive questions that she is not answering by not doing interviews with the media, because she can just step aside and let Donald Trump command the whole debate with his whatever he wants to talk about, stolen elections and whatnot. On the other hand, it is kind of amazing that the Trump team's position seems to be that we would really enjoy having our candidate muted when it's not his turn to speak.
Yeah, that's right. Look, Donald Trump came out and said, "Oh, I'm kind of fine with whatever." It's very clear that it's his campaign that cares, because they know that they need that governor on him. They essentially had told him last time about how dangerous it would be if he decided to try to keep talking when his mic was off. The optics of that, this man yelling into an empty microphone, that clearly made an impression on him, and it clearly helped very much to keep him on topic and in control. And they are looking for all the help they can get in the next debate. We'll see. I think he's eager not to back down on what he so far is presenting as the guy who wants to do debates. Remember, he also is the one that is saying we should do more than just one. So far, her campaign has been very edgy on that, and it has not necessarily committed. They suggested that if he showed up at this first one, they'd be on for a second, but they won't give specifics. So he is enjoying coming across as a person that's not afraid and brave. That may well push them to do this debate regardless of the rules. Look, do I think in the end, I agree with his campaign team, it would probably be much wiser to have those rules. Also, I just have to say, from a watching experience, that debate with Trump and Biden was better without having candidates interrupt each other every 10 seconds or every 5 seconds. So it would probably be more substantive that way. This is all about political gamesmanship right now on the Kamala Harris side.
Finally, what about the Trump and JD Vance campaign, the tickets attempt to thread the needle on the issue of abortion? Donald Trump has said that he thinks it should be decided by the states, not by the federal government. Let's listen to JD Vance on Meet the Press this weekend, underlining that message.
I think it's important to step back and say, what has Donald Trump actually said on the abortion question, and how is it different from what Kamala Harris and the Democrats have said? Donald Trump wants to end this culture war over this particular topic. If California wants to have a different abortion policy from Ohio, then Ohio has to respect California and California has to respect Ohio. Donald Trump's view is that we want the individual states and their individual cultures and their unique political sensibilities to make these decisions, because we don't want to have a nonstop federal conflict over this issue. The federal government ought to be focused on getting food prices down, getting housing prices down.
And then on Friday, Donald Trump on Truth Social said this: "My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights," unquote. And Monet, I'd take him to be trying to defuse this issue for the general election, trying to speak to suburban women and swing voters in swing states. On the other hand, is there a risk for the Trump ticket here of losing some of the pro-life Republican base, even though Donald Trump can say, "I'm the guy who appointed the justices who ended Roe v. Wade"?
I think that it's an open question how much these disavowals from Trump and Vance will actually help them to change the minds of some of these undecided voters for whom abortion is an important issue. I think that Harris and Walz are on full tilt offense, suggesting that Republicans are in favor of passing some kinds of restrictions. And Trump has already laid down his position, which essentially is that it's a state matter and that he doesn't want any national action on the issue. I think that there are a lot of voters who doubt Republicans' sincerity on the issue, no matter how much they disavow it. And so there's nothing that Trump and Vance can really do to change the minds of those folks. And it is possible that there are some pro-life voters in the Republican Party who are going to see their enthusiasm wane as Trump and Vance continue to go further and further distancing themselves from any kind of substantive pro-life stance. But all of that's going to shake out within the next few weeks. I think that we'll probably see even more and more frequent attacks from Harris and Walz, who know that this is their biggest and probably winningest issue. And I don't think that the Trump-Vance strategy, other than laying down markers and saying, hey, we're not going to pass a national abortion ban, is really going to make the difference as much as it is some of these voters making up their own minds about where all this is going to shake out.
Kim, we'll give you the last word, but here's the line from Kamala Harris's Democratic convention speech. As part of his agenda, Trump and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And as far as I can see, that is not true.
Total fiction.
He has been pretty clear that he does not want to do that. JD Vance telling Meet the Press that he would veto a national abortion ban. What do you make of his efforts to diffuse that line of attack?
I understand what he's doing here. He feels as though he wants to try to neutralize this issue. And remember that this gets wrapped up in things that go beyond abortion. Democrats have also attempted to suggest that Republicans are going to peel back in vitro fertilization rights. And my belief is that statement by Trump was sort of all encompassing when he said reproductive rights. He's talking in general about your ability to have a baby, etc. So I don't think that it was as clear cut as just an abortion statement. That being said, I think this is a very double-edged sword for Republicans. There's one line of thinking among GOP strategists that we've got the evangelical and the pro-life Catholic vote. By the way, those have been enormous sources of votes for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. And moreover, these people don't have anywhere else to go. What are they going to go vote for Kamala Harris? That's one way of thinking. The other way of thinking, though, is that a lot of this is about turnout and about motivating to come out for you. And if the Trump team is too cavalier about these voters, it's not necessarily that they're going to go vote for Kamala Harris. They just might not feel motivated to go vote. So you need to keep them on side and on board. And it's sort of surprising to me. There are quite easy ways to do that. You can talk about this issue, say we need to leave it to the states, but also talk about the things that you're going to do that really are more far-reaching unanimity in the country, things like the Hyde Amendment, no taxpayer funding for abortion services, etc., to give some encouragement and a nod to those out there who are you're supporting that you are still thinking about that agenda. I think it was just sort of poorly chosen words that they should be a little bit more thoughtful about as they go forward.